2 days of competition remain for the men at the 2014 Reebok CrossFit Games, and they begin their weekend with a wild card 2-movement event that can shake up a leaderboard that has already seen plenty of surprises. Brandon Domain and Bill Grundler here at the soccer stadium at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. Event number 7 standing in the way of the athletes here in heat number 1, which is beginning next, as they all try to chase down a very, very tight leaderboard, with Jason Kalipa currently up but just 14 points ahead of Noah Olson, the rookie, and Josh Bridges only 18 points back, and of course lurking in the weeds, Rich Froning in 4th.
You may have heard of that name before, just hanging out down there. Had kind of a rough day yesterday, bounced himself back up, and man, he's making a hunt back to that podium.
A few big names in actually heat number 1 as they take on Muscle Up Biathlon, event number 7.
And I love what this is. 400-meter run, and then we just go crazy on muscle-ups. A set of 18, another 400-meter run, a set of 15, all the way down to a set of 12. And if you miss or you have to break any of those up, you have to take a 200-meter lap before you can come back to the rings.
And here we go, heat 1 of 3 for the men in event number 7. It's a 400-meter lap, and it's not only a lap around the soccer stadium here, it's a lap up over Heartbreak Hill, all the way back down. A little bit of fun after doing 3 miles of running a day ago.
Yeah, they love to throw this little kick in the gut every time they put a little run in here. That run is actually about a 54-foot incline, about a 5-story incline on every single one of those rotations around that 400-meter run. So you think that the run's going to be tough, but I really honestly believe that what this is going to come down to is how they manage themselves through those muscle-ups. When you have athletes that know that they're going to be able to get through these unbroken, okay, maybe they can push the run. You have the athletes that aren't going to be able to do them unbroken, and the run isn't necessarily going to be the race. They just have to get through there, manage their rest as much as they can so that they have the least number of breaks on the rings as possible.
Group making their way up this 54-foot high hill at the back of the StubHub Center Soccer Stadium, and in this group, plenty of big names, including Lucas Parker, one of the most famous CrossFit athletes right now, in 40th place after 6 events.
And that, you know, Lucas Parker, he's a great athlete. I talked to him actually before the games actually started, and one of the things he likes best is he just likes the training aspect of the game. He isn't necessarily a fan of the competition. He likes to see how he can tweak his workout, and I don't know if that's what's going on here. He usually has kind of a rough beginning into the games, but it's always fun to watch him compete.
Always fun in his 4th year at the games, but we'll be taking a look for a rookie in this heat that might have a breakout performance in Cody Anderson.
Cody Anderson. He's going to be one of the smaller athletes in this particular heat. Once they get over to the ring, you're going to see him over in lane 10. But he has a gymnastic background. He's a lighter athlete and weighs about 160 pounds or so, and that's going to be something that I think is really going to bode well for him. I've seen him do video of doing unbroken muscle-ups, and he was able to hit 23, and that was way back in 2011.
Well, he doesn't need to get 23. He'll only need 18 on set number 1, as Lucas Parker will be the first one to the rig for his set of 18 muscle-ups. It always seems like he finds magic on Saturday afternoons here.
Is a sprint, 1 time straight through. The fastest athletes will move on to round 2.
So again, this is what it's going to come down to. You have to be smart when you get to the rings. Cody Anderson, there he is right there on your screen. Extremely light, which is going to be great for these bodyweight gymnastic movements. And again, he has a nice strong kip. He looks so relaxed, gets himself up over those rings, presses out into that dip. What he needs to make sure he does is lock those arms out so he doesn't get any missed reps.
Cody Anderson, the surprise qualifier out of the Northwest region, Central Oregon CrossFit. He was 45th in his region after the Open, but making it here to Carson. Patrick Burke, somebody that, no surprise, making it to Carson in his 6th appearance.
And I just love the fact that he's back here. Now, he's a bigger athlete. What he's listed as max unbroken muscle-ups is only 17, so he's going to have to be very smart about this.
Lucas Parker has just gone unbroken, 18 of 18, and he might be back into his little magic zone in the soccer stadium on Saturday afternoon.
I think he just loves to surprise people. You either just surprises going one way, the bad way, or throws a surprise there in front of everyone else. But wow, he's getting chased down by the rest of the field. Pat Burke, listed it at 17 unbroken, and he just did 18 unbroken. That possibly is a PR right out of the gate.
4 athletes go 18 in a row, including Cody Anderson and Richard Bohlken included in this, as 4 now beginning their second lap around the stadium.
Now for those guys that went unbroken here, it's going to be kind of a chess match. And I heard you talk about this earlier with the women. It's a chess match about how hard do you push on the run. You need to make sure that you don't want to fall back to the back, obviously. You need to make sure that you're recovering enough so that you are able to get the next set unbroken or really close to getting it unbroken. But you don't want to lose the field either.
A great example from heat number 1 on the women's side with Sheila Barden dropping back a few positions and regaining the lead in the last second. Your leaders here at this point, Lucas Parker out in front, Cody Anderson, and then Pat Burke and Richard Bohlken.
I'm real impressed with Lucas Parker being out there in the front. I was not expecting that by him at all. Cody Anderson, who just kind of hopped out in front of there on that top loop, that was who I was expecting to be out in the front right out of the get-go.
And Anderson going by Parker on the outside as they begin their downhill ascent into the soccer stadium.
And just like every one of these races, Brandon, it's not the first round of anything that's just going to determine the race. In fact, in most cases, we see people hop out in the front, they end up going out too hard and actually blowing themselves out, not being able to keep that tempo. So we have to see if these guys have the pace for them that's going to work, or are they kind of playing rabbit with each other and trying to break somebody.
It's the rookie and the 4-time Games athlete, Anderson and Parker, the first 2 back onto the grass and making their way over to the rig for a set of 15 muscle-ups. Parker will be the first one back to the ring since he had a slight advantage on the way back in. His lane closer to the entrance, about 3 lanes between Parker and Anderson.
Lucas is being smart right now, just taking his time, catching his breath. Cody doing the same thing. Real smart to do this. Cody hopping up under the rings there in the yellow shorts. Lucas on the red, with the red shorts on the left side of your screen. Again, they need to manage their rest. That's what's so hugely important on these muscle-ups. The problem with muscle-ups is the second you lose them, they're gone for a really, really, really long time.
6 complete for Cody Anderson, now 7. He passes the halfway point in this set of 15 with 8. We might be seeing him go 2 for 2 in unbroken sets.
Just barely qualified the Northwest Regional. He climbed his way up.
He is through 11, 3 remaining as Lucas Parker now beginning a penalty lap. He drops down. Cody Anderson wanting none of it. 1 rep remaining. And Cody Anderson, the rookie out of Oregon,
Boom.
2 sets in a row.
And that's exactly what he needed. I expected to see this from him. So again, as long as he stays nice and cool on this opening lap, man, that's going to be great for him.
Burke, Bohlken, and Parker all went unbroken in set number 1. Neither of them able to do so in set number 2. So Cody Anderson going to open up a gigantic lead here in heat number 1.
He just looks so relaxed when he's hitting those muscle-ups, and that's what you want to see. You don't want to expend a lot of wasted energy on those muscle-ups, and now what he needs to do is just kind of conserve on this 400-meter up the hill, of course. So, manage that rest. Take some time if you need to.
Anderson looking to improve on his best finish thus far, which was just 17th in the event in the tennis stadium last night, the 21-15-9 complex, currently sitting 32nd in points, making his way up the hill for the final time. Pat Burke, 3 reps away from finishing up his second set, but this is going to be a 1-2 minute lead for Anderson. Burke on his final rep, little bit of a struggle getting on top of the rings, does get the extension, and he takes second place over Parker, who's still working on his second set.
And again, coming into this heat, we knew that he had about 17, 18 unbroken, able to do that. He needed to make sure that he didn't go any more breaks then 1. So he's doing okay. Pat's doing great.
Cody Anderson, though, in his own little world right now. He's almost back onto the grass before the second place athlete, Burke, left the grass to start his run. Parker completed with his set of 15, now beginning his final 400-meter lap, and almost getting lapped by Cody Anderson, who's about to enter the field for the third and final time.
And what Cody needs to remember is that he's not racing just the people in his heat right now at all. I mean, basically he's not in a race with them at all. It's the following 2 heats. So he needs to do well here. He needs to go, if he can go unbroken, that's going to be great. Get down the field so we can get that time as short as possible so he can start getting some more points and move himself back up to the leaderboard a little bit.
It was just a minute 8 for the set of 18, a minute 2 for the set of 15. Looking to go 3 for 3 in unbroken sets. Cody Anderson, your event leader.
Nice, strong, relaxed kip. Pops those hips up at the top. Nice press out over top of the rings. What's going to be important here is that he doesn't get ahead of himself. We saw a lot of the ladies actually missing reps and getting called for no reps because they weren't locking out all the way.
He's
He
got
just needs
5.
to be nice and calm here.
4 reps remaining. This last rep looking just like the first rep did. Cody Anderson with 2 remaining. And Cody Anderson, the rookie from Oregon, 3 for 3 in unbroken sets.
That was exactly what he needed to do. He needed to do that unbroken. Exactly what he did. I think his rest time was perfect. He didn't push himself too hard on the run. I think that time is great.
And not only is it going to be a Heat 1 win, but that is going to be a very, very difficult time to beat. 10 minutes, 43 seconds. By the way, we're still waiting for second place Pat Burke to come back onto the field.
And that right there is what that penalty lap will do to you. 200 meters is exactly that. Puts you back up at least a good minute.
The 6-time Games veteran now making his way back to the rings for the third and final set.
But this is going to be the question, though. Is he going to go unbroken or try to go unbroken with 12? Or is he going to plan to have that rest in there? Or that, I'm going to call it a rest. I'll call it a penalty. It is a penalty. I'll call it a rest. Is he going to go all the way through or try to at least get through that halfway point before he has to break?
A giant lead over Lucas Parker, who's currently in third. So if he... Parker on the left, Burke on the right, the 2 Games veterans, 10 years between the 2 of them, trying to close out this final set of muscle-ups. And Burke will be the first one to drop, 1 rep ahead of Parker, who continues to go on the rings, and now Parker drops down. They begin their penalty lap on this third and final set.
So the chess race for these 2 is how hard do you push this 200-meter lap? How much are you going to save to get back onto that rings, set of rings? Not going to be able to chalk up as much because all of that time is going to be wasted time while these 2 are going head-to-head.
Not much of an edge for Parker over Burke, despite what it appears on the field, as Parker does have a little bit more distance to go. His lap was a little bit shorter to start with before that first set of turns because of their positioning on the rig. But Parker running quite a bit faster than Burke, who's going for more of a rest on this 200-meter run. It's been 2.5 minutes since Anderson wrapped up heat number 1 of 3 here in event 7. Still waiting on the second place battle to finish up between Parker and Burke.
All right, who's it going to be? Who's going to hop up to those rings right away? Whoa!
No waiting for Lucas Parker. Closing in now with 3 reps remaining. And the battle of the game's veterans looking to go to Lucas Parker. He is down and away. Lucas Parker taking second in the heat and currently second in event number 7.
Great job by Lucas Parker. I was not expecting that at all from him, but that was amazing.
Pat Burke struggling to finish up these final few. He has one remaining and coming down, and he is going to take a huge hit with yet another penalty lap.
The last thing you want to have happen is that last rep gets messed up.
And because of this penalty lap, it's going to be Eric Carmody in lane number 6, taking 3rd place ahead of Burke.
That right there is just how important a little bit of extra rest will play. Did Pat run too hard? Did he get up on the rings too soon? You knew Lucas Parker was coming up to the rings at the exact same time, so maybe that may have rabbited him into those rings before he really wanted to.
Burke is going to lose 4th place, as well as Jordan Cook, another one of the game's rookies, taking 4th as he steps onto the end zone. Still 3 minutes before the 18-minute time cap. Emmanuel Maldonado out of the Latin American region finishing up in a top 5 finish in a heat as well. Burke just 1 rep away, trying to hang on to 6th as a battle is developing for that position. Alex Nettey with a lead on Burke as they sprint to the finish. Nettey will pass Burke as well. So Patrick Burke, one of the leaders through much of this event behind Cody Anderson, not just losing 2nd, but falling all the way back to 7th.
And that's a chess match right there.
Paul Tremblay, another one of the game's rookies as far as an individual standpoint goes, a former team competitor, taking 8th here in Heat 1 of Event 7. Still more work to be done for these athletes later today as well, with another event here very shortly.
You can see just how deadly these muscle-ups are. Way back early in the open season, the first set of qualifiers, everyone was told that everyone had to know how to do muscle-ups, and guess what? Man, did we throw a lot of muscle-ups on these guys.
And a good showing for the big man, Jeff Evans, all 205 pounds of them, finishing up the muscle-up biathlon in strong fashion at 16 minutes and 32 seconds. Richard Bohlken, one of the 4 men that went unbroken in the first set, all the way back down to 10th at 16:36, just ahead of Marcus Philly. Three athletes left on the floor in this shortened heat. Albert Dominique Larouche withdrew earlier today, so just 14 in this heat instead of the scheduled 15. Nate Schrader, in his 3rd appearance at the CrossFit Games at Iron Forged CrossFit, finishing up with 48 seconds remaining until the 18-minute time cap.
That's a tough workout for him because he's one of the larger athletes out there with some long arms.
Very big athlete, 6'1", 212. Leaves just Quinton Z Van Rooyen out of the African region on the floor, along with Jeff Germond out of the South Central. Quinton finishing up his 200-meter penalty lap, and when the closing seconds, it's Germond getting 1 rep in. He finishes just 5 of his set of 12 muscle-ups. So 12 out of the 14 in heat number 1 able to complete, and they were all just blown away by Cody Anderson at 10:43.
Cody Anderson, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have the athletes that can do this unbroken, and that's going to be one small, short set of times. And you're going to have the athletes that can't. But, man, when Cody Anderson has a workout that is in his wheelhouse, the guy puts a pedal to the metal, and he did just that. Unbroken all the way through in all 3 sets. Great clip on the run. Conserved his energy, conserved his rest, and that was great.
Almost reminds you of Josh Bridges when you talk about home run hitters. Another athlete to look for in this event number 7. Cody Anderson, 10 minutes, 43 seconds, over 3 minutes, 15 seconds faster than event runner-up Lucas Parker. Just a mind-boggling gap between first and second. Eric Carmody out of Korea, 14 minutes and 27 seconds to round out the top 3. But the man that just blew the water out of everybody on this event, Cody Anderson on the field with Amanda Krenz.
Cody, first of all, just tell me, how are you so amazing at muscle-ups?
Probably 4 years gymnastics helped a lot. I've been doing it since I was like 9, so I think that helped.
That might have something to do with it. What did you focus on during the run?
I wasn't too worried about how fast I was going on that. I just wanted to stay running. So the stairs and the uphill part were kind of difficult, I guess, but the downhill kind of made up for it. So I was just trying to pace myself and keep my breath under control.
How are your first games going?
They're awesome. I'm having so much fun. It's a lot of fun.
Good. Thanks, Cody.
Thanks.
Cody Anderson will walk off the field with a time to beat, a very difficult time to beat at 10 minutes and 43 seconds. I'm